The first presentation we have in this segment is INDECOMM. Rachel, do I have you with me?
Yes, hi.
Hey, Rachel. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So where are you joining us from today, besides your house?
I want to say live from quarantine in
Yeah.
Houston, Texas.
Okay, you're in Houston. Okay, fellow Texan coming in. All right. Well, let me do a quick introduction to INDECOMM here, and then the floor is yours, Rachel. Okay. So with solutions for every stage of the mortgage loan lifecycle, INDECOMM provides automation, outsourcing, compliance, and learning to support client needs. For 25 years, we've partnered with large and mid-sized lenders, servicers, and title companies as a trusted partner. AuditGenius is INDECOMM's proprietary, internally used, web-based SaaS solution developed to simplify the loan audit process for effective and efficient mortgage risk management. Rachel, we're excited to learn more. Floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Clayton, and thank you for the whole HousingWire team for having this event while we're all in the middle of such, disparate areas. We very much appreciate it. So my name is Rachel Harris. I'm the Vice President of Product Management at INDECOMM. With me today is my teammate, Krista Sable. Krista is our Marketing Director and will be helping with any questions that you might have in the chat panel in real time. So a little about us here at INDECOMM. We are headquartered in Edison, New Jersey, and we have U.S. offices in St. Paul, Minnesota, and Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as global operations centers in Salem and Bangalore. We have over 1,200 employees engaged in 3 divisions that provide services to the mortgage industry: outsourcing, software, and learning. Our mortgage division provides services to every stage of the loan lifecycle. We do everything from processing to underwriting, software consulting, quality control, and e-recording. Our point of view is a little different than a lot of other companies, and that is because of our breadth of experience. We audit thousands of loans every year, and we record nearly 1 million mortgages on an annual basis. With 3 decades of experience in the mortgage industry, INDECOMM's uniquely aware of the pain points of the mortgage business, and that's because really and truly we ourselves are mortgage bankers. As you're pretty familiar, the mortgage industry, we've kind of lagged when it comes to other industries, when it comes to technology. While other industries were really focused on a robust, automatic, low-touch, end-to-end environment, and we were all still kind of sobbing when our fax machines got stuck. And it's really not been that long ago that a backup like that led to days, if not weeks, of added turn times for conditions SLAs. And thankfully and finally, we have moved into modern times, and we've seen some really amazing technology today, that there are some great things happening in the mortgage business, and a lot of that is really focused on borrower facing. And that's not a bad thing. That's where it starts. That's what everything is all about, right? Is all serving our client. But while we've got these kind of amazing state-of-the-art processes to text with our borrowers, to pull in great complete applications, a lot of things switch back to the way that they used to be as soon as those things come into our operations groups. And there's a lot of outdated, inefficient things that are happening in operations, and my goodness, it's all, if there's something that was there and that was not quite as efficient as it should be, we've really shined a bright spotlight on that as we try to get everybody transitioned into remote work right now. And that's not to say that there's not technology in the space, there certainly is, but a lot of the technology that's being used in our operations and our back office groups, it's kind of disjointed. It doesn't always complement some of the other things that are out there. And it leads to our teams kind of feeling some tech fatigue. They don't want to learn one more software program. We have our groups that don't want to implement one more thing. And it's because it feels like they're adding something, not that we're taking away something. So we here at INDECOMM thought that there had to be a better approach to that. And our approach to automation is a little different. We focus on bringing lenders efficiency inside their operations groups. We're not borrower facing. We're not a loan origination system. And unlike handing over an individual component, so there's some great image vendors in the world, but we found that mortgage lenders would get the most efficiency from being able to implement an out-of-the-box solution and right within their operations groups. And being mortgage bankers, we knew what that information was and how it would be used. So we took that disparate information that's coming in. There's data coming in from both the loan origination system and different third-party sources. There's documents that these days they truly feel like they're coming in from 5,000 different places. And we did the heavy lifting on our partners' behalf. We taught our systems how to recognize those mortgage documents, what data points from those documents were going to be important. Perhaps most importantly, we also programmed what business rules would be needed to effectively use that data. Digitizing documents is one thing, and it's a wonderful thing, but using that data intelligently is really the end goal. So at INDECOMM, we package those components into standard use cases, and it means that our lender partners are able to implement that with very little legwork on their side, so it doesn't feel like a chore or like another implementation project for them. Some of those things are entire software platforms for us here at INDECOMM. IncomeGenius is our automated income calculation platform, and that by itself is all about automated income calculation. But we took our software platform, AuditGenius, and it's been used in the risk management world for over a decade. And we here at INDECOMM use it in every single one of our outsourcing engagements to support all the work that we do from a quality control perspective. And we let it serve as kind of the traffic cop for our automation solutions. So automated AuditGenius is available for things that you would traditionally find in the risk management or the quality control world. So we do things there like TRID audits and HMDA reviews, post-closing quality control. But we recently realized that a lot of things that we're kind of calling audit issues or things that are getting cited in the audit world, it really happens much earlier in the operations process. And not that we don't want to identify things in risk management, but the ultimate goal is for the issue to never happen. So we realized that a lot of that kind of started in loan setup, and it truly impacts everything that happens in the mortgage loan lifecycle. And if you could take away those time-consuming tasks that are leading to errors, it makes your loan setup and your processing teams that much more impactful. They can be more customer facing, the true value adds instead of kind of feeling like the grunt task. And of course, it's going to reduce those quality control errors, which is kind of how we started in this place. So if the loan starts in the back office with the right setup, it can lead to big efficiency gains for processing and underwriting all the way into quality control and delivery. And of course, it also gives our lender partners a really scalable platform that in addition to loan setup, they have the ability to use AuditGenius in a lot of different ways. So we're super excited about that process. That's what I'll be sharing with you today. So let's see how automated loan setup works. So truly the most exciting part about loan setup with AuditGenius is that the work that your team does, it happens in your LOS. So I'm going to show you all the behind the scenes today, but it allows your team to work on an exception basis. So instead of them learning all the behind the scenes of how this new software works, at the end, they're going to get back a scorecard and a stacked and indexed file. So it's done to your naming conventions, the way that you want the file to be organized, and it allows them to work on an exception basis. Instead of them worrying about everything that's part of that loan setup and organizing every single document, they just work on the exceptions, just the things that still need follow-up. So let's take a look at how that process works. So this is honestly the hardest thing for us to show in AuditGenius, and it's because all that work happens in your origination system. So we've got this organized today in an order form. So you'll be able to see a loan start out in your loan origination system and see how it will make its way through AuditGenius and then come all the way back into your LOS with that completed scorecard that we saw at the end. So first, we're going to kick that process off. So your team will trigger the automated loan setup process, and you're going to trigger that from right within your loan origination system. This trigger is configurable, so it can be done to your needs. If as part of loan setup, if you want to say before a file goes to underwriting that you want to make sure that a certain document is present in that file before your underwriter ever touches it, that can be one of the configurable triggers. If you want a certain data point to be present in the file before you kick off that process, that's something that we can work out together. A lot of lenders choose to base this around a status or a milestone being present. When that happens, that's what will kick off the order to leave your LOS and come out to us in AuditGenius. The first thing that's going to happen in AuditGenius is we're going to take your file through automated document identification. That's going to go through our imaging platform. We'll identify all the pages that came in, including the information from your borrower. If there's anything that kicks out of that platform that maybe we're not able to recognize, or it needs a quality control check, that check is performed by our teams here at INDECOMM, again, freeing your teams up for that more impactful work. For that quality control check, it lands here in AuditGenius, and this is what that looks like. For those teams, if you hover over the pages, it shows you what you're looking at, so it makes it really easy for them to identify and work within the system. They simply click the pages that need to be moved, and they are then able to put that information into the appropriate folder, and then they just click the button to index that information and move it to the correct location. We trigger this quality control check based off of things like a low confidence score, or if perhaps we've configured a new document, if you have a new disclosure or a new investor required document, as the system gets more proficient, as it learns that process, our teams can intervene to make sure that that happens as accurately as possible for your groups. Afterwards, we're going to trigger this information to go to data certification, and that will conclude our doc classification portion. In data certification, so we've recognized the documents. If perhaps as part of saying that you have a complete file, you want to make that income documents are in place. We want to recognize we have pay stubs and tax returns or anything else that's applicable there, but we also want to take the data off of that document so that we can complete tasks. Just like the document identification, this is just a check. If there were places where data was not extracted, it'll trigger for a peek from our team to come in and complete that information. Pages that are already auto-identified, everything will automatically turn green. No intervention is needed. Now that we've digitized the information off of your images, we're going to use that information to complete certain tasks on the transaction. And many things that we do in AuditGenius, that is truly an audit. So we're going to send that order to our automated order platform. And this audit platform, though, think of these as tasks more when it comes to loan setup. So if you wanted to make sure that you had, for example, income and assets as part of your loan file, you don't want to just blankly list assets there every time, and lack of presence of bank statements might not mean anything for a cash out refinance. So we use the data that we extracted to be able to complete the tasks that were here. Tasks that were affirmatively completed by the automation will already be green and red when you open this up. And we can supplement those tasks if there's some things that perhaps need human intervention, or if you want an extra set of eyes on something that's happening, or you want someone to log into your loan origination system and complete a task or order a service. Those are things that we can supplement with our outsourcing teams. They'll go in and just complete those tasks in order to close out the process. And from there, they'll hit the complete button, which is going to close out your automated loan setup. Finally, we're going to come back to your loan origination system to close things out, to close the loop on the completion of that process. And what your teams are going to get back is their stacked and indexed file. This will be converted to your naming conventions. So if you call a 1003 an application, it'll say application instead of 1003. If another client prefers to call it an IRLA, we'll rename it to their naming conventions. This also will standardize things for you, such as avoiding that perhaps one of your processors always calls bank statements assets and the rest of your group labels them as bank statements. It'll eliminate some of the things that are there. And of course, it also passes the information back, which permits your team to work on an exception basis and just follow up on the information that is missing as part of that initial loan file. Hopefully, I know that's a lot of information in regards to AuditGenius, and we tried to keep it pretty high level today so that you were able to just get a peek of the information that's there. But hopefully that gave you a little bit of information on how AuditGenius works and how it can bring automation to any process that you might have in regards to audit or comparisons. In addition to automated loan setup, AuditGenius support things like TRID audits, post-closing quality control, and HMDA reviews. Hopefully you got a little bit of information on that automation and efficiency from AuditGenius, and we want to open things up for any questions that you might have for us.
Hey, Rachel, this is Krista. Hi, everyone. This is Krista Sable. I'm Director of Marketing for INDECOMM, and we do have a few questions. And first of all, great job, Rachel. Our first question is, does AuditGenius cover servicing and default ops, audit, and compliance?
Yes, we do have servicing workflows that are built into AuditGenius. We also can configure any checklist-based process that you have. We can certainly configure that within AuditGenius as well. It's very flexible.
Very good. And our next question is, can you support multiple fields as the trigger from Encompass? For instance, milestone is conditional approved for FHA, but approved for conventional.
Yes, we would just have to configure the different triggers.
Okay, let's see. Do you offer automatic questionnaires?
Automatic questionnaires, as far as other checklists that are automatically completed, yes, that we can offer other automatic audits through AuditGenius as well.
Okay, keep the questions coming. We like questions.
Yeah, and I do know if no other are coming in, we can also go ahead and pass it off to Clayton to switch on over to you, Clayton.
Thank you, Brenna. Thank you, Rachel. You can't forget that last comment that came in there from Suzanne. I don't know if I'll get the woo. This is great for seconds. That's Suzanne is really excited about this. So
I can't woot properly, so thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah. I got a pretty good woot. Woot.
Well, thank you very much.